Hello students, once again welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will share economics chapter, national income, and here we will do some introduction part, and then we will discuss the two-sector model without government saving. So let us start with introduction of the chapter of national income. Before we start national income, circular flow of national income, we will see what are the economic sectors in an economy. So basically, there are four sectors. The first is households. So what do households do in an economy? Households households supply land, labor, and capital and earn money. They have households own land, so they supply land to the producers. They supply the labor service. They give the labor service, and they give their capital, and in doing so, they earn money. That is, they earn income. They spend income in buying goods and services, save and pay taxes to the government. So when they get their income, they spend their income in buying goods and services, they save a part of it and they pay taxes to the government. So this is what the households do in an economy. Firms, the second is firms. Firms hire factors of production and produce and sell goods. So they hire factors of production, that is, they hire land, labor, and capital. And by hiring, that is, by employing labor, by uh, employing land, by owning land, by renting land, they produce and sell goods and services, right? Government. What is the role of government in an economy? It gets income from taxes imposed on households and firms. So the government imposes taxes on households and firms, and with that income, it buys goods from firms and services from households. So what does the government do with that income? It provides service to the people. With the income, it buys goods from the firms so that it can provide service to people, and it also buys services from the house. That is, it buys labor from the households so that it can provide service to people. Next is rest of the world. It comprises of foreign countries. We know all the countries that are involved in export and import. So rest of the world is also a very important part in an economy because export and import is very vital in an economy. It comprises of foreign countries. I will explain you this as we proceed. So let us start with some introductory concepts. First is real flow versus money flow. So what is real flow? It includes flow of factor services and flow of goods and services. So here we can see in this diagram, here we have the real flow. So here factor services, that is houses, they give their factor services, that is labor, to the firms. The factors of production, that is factor services, they move from households to firm. Right? This is not a monetary transaction, that's why it is a real flow. That is, this is the factors of production are moving from households to firm. And the flow of goods and services. Households buy goods and services from firms. That is, firms sell goods and services to households. So this is the arrow moving from firms to households. So this is a real flow because here no money is involved. So real flow includes flow of factor services and flow of goods and services. And what is money flow? It includes flow of money income from factor services. As we have seen in real flow, households, they supply their factor services. So if they supply factor services, what do they get? They get money in return, factor payments. So who does the money payment? Firms. So firms do the money payment to the households. So this is in the form of money. And when the households buy goods and services from the firms, so households, in order to buy goods and services, they do consumption expenditure, that is money flows from households to firms, that is their spending and the money is going to the firms. So this is the money flow because money is moving in both the cases. Factor payments is done in the form of money, right? Factor payments can be wages, rent, interest, and consumption expenditure, that is whatever households are spending, they have to pay for it. So they are paying to the firm. So this is the money flow, right? This is in the form of money. So this is the difference between real flow versus money flow. Now we come to circular flow. What is circular flow? Flow of income is circular in nature. That is, it is unending. It is called circular because flow of income goes on continuously. There is no end. Why? The first we see is income flows from firms in the form of factor payments to households. When the households they give factor services to firms, what do the firms do? They give money, that is, they do factor payments, wages, rent, interest to the households. So households are getting money, right? So what do the households do? They spend on goods and services and they do the payment to firms. So money flows to firms now in the form of expenditure on goods and services produced by production units. So first what happens? Income flows from firms in the form of factor payments. So when firms are employing laborers, they are giving wages to the households, and this wages they are spending, the households are spending, and they are giving it to firms in order to buy goods and services from the producers. So this process goes on and on. So production, it is production. They will employ laborers. It will give rise to income. Income will give rise to expenditure because they will spend on goods and services. Households will spend on goods and services, and expenditure will give rise to income again. Why? Because if there is an expenditure, again the producers will produce goods and services. So if the producers are producing, again they will hire laborers. So they will do factor payments to the houses. So it will give rise to income again. And this process goes on and on. So that's why it is known as circular flow of income. Mind it, flow of income is circular in nature. So it is an unending process. Now here for simplicity, we have considered here the circular flow of economy in a two-sector model where there are only two sectors, producers or firms and houses. Here we imagine there is no government and the country has no relationship with the rest of the world. So it is a very imaginary economy. For simplicity, first we will consider only two sectors, right? Houses and firms. Now we can see here firms are there, houses are there. So this is a lower loop. If we consider this is a lower loop, these two, and this is the upper loop. So let us discuss first about the lower loop. See here, in the lower loop, flow of factor services, there are factor services flow from households to firms. You can see the arrow. So firms, households supply their factor services and firms take their factor services, that is labor, land, right? So, and in return, money flows from producers to the households because they have to do factor payment. So the upper part, this upper part is a real flow and this is the money flow, right? And in the upper loop, we can see goods and services flow from producers to households because households buy goods and services from the producers. So you can see this arrow, right? And in return, households they give money to the producers, right? So the money flows to the producers. So this outer loop, in fact, this is the money flow, and the inner loop is the real flow. So what we see here, households they supply their factor services, and in return they get factor payments. And here houses buy goods and services from producers. So goods and services flow to households, and in return, they give their consumption expenditure, that is, money flows from households to firms. And this process is unending. That's why it is circular in nature. This process will go on and on. So, here in this diagram, we have considered two sector economy with producers and households, with no government and no rest of the world. I will discuss more of the sectors in my coming videos. So stay tuned. And if you liked my video, do subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon. Bye bye. Have a great time.